Welcome back in one of the Bears Travel Plays YouTube channel. Today is Monday, January 6th, and I'm back breaking down some college basketball picks. We have one game only, and one player prop. Not a huge slate. Don't love a lot, but we're going to talk about Ohio State once again going up against Minnesota. I'll just talk about that game today. Pretty confident in the play. Before we do that, let's talk about the games we had on Saturday. Fun, entertaining games on Saturday, especially the first game I was the most confident in. Florida going up against Kentucky. College basketball, the shift in momentum. I mean, it's possession by possession. Every 4 minute timeout, every 5 minute timeout, whatever it is, every 16, every 4 minute timeout. The swings in momentum in college basketball are absolutely amazing. Florida was up early in this game by 11 points. Then Kentucky was up by 10 points before the half. Florida, I think, cut it to 10 right before the buzzer at the half. Florida comes out, ties the game up. Florida goes up some points. Kentucky goes back up by 12. Florida cuts it again to 2 with 4 minutes left. And then Kentucky closes it out. So really it's just what team can get the momentum at the right time. That's what college basketball is. And at home, Kentucky, they could not miss. I still feel like I was on the right side. Florida over 50% shooting. Florida nearly 50% shooting from deep. They led in the free throw battle, had more free throws made. Turnovers were bad. Kentucky had a lot of not second chance points, a lot of turnover points. Florida had all the second chance points in the world. They were cleaning up the glass. It was just a really fun, entertaining game. And unfortunately, I was on the wrong side for that one. Next was a horrible play. Baylor on the road against Iowa State in Ames. Horrible play there. Hand up on that one. Baylor was somewhat competitive in the first half, not competitive at all in the second half. Iowa State defense was incredible. Final play was Alabama. They stomp all over Oklahoma at Alabama. This game was never close. Alabama was up by 20-plus points. It felt like the entire game. Had them minus 11.5 or 12.5, somewhere around there. So Alabama dominates that one. Player props, Walter Clayton Jr., 32 points. Season high for him going up against Kentucky. Got him at 16.5. And the other player prop, Mark Sears, over 2.5 made threes. I was so confident going into that game. It was my second largest bet of the day. Had one early in the game. Couldn't make a shot in the last 10 minutes of the first half and the entire second half. And everybody from Alabama was scoring at will. So just a bad shooting day for Mark Sears from the outside. If you took his points, I think he hit. I think he did score 20 points in the game, most of it being from just layups and free throws. But from behind the arc, he was horrible. So a 2-3 day, and I'm going to try to do better today, try to go 2-0 for you guys on Monday. I'm going to start putting out at least one play per day on the college basketball side. Football's wrapped up, NCAA and NFL regular seasons are wrapped up, so more time to dig into college basketball. We've got some work to do. Got to get the record up. We got to find some teams that are ready for March Madness. We got to find some teams that are contenders and not pretenders. So we're going to get into this game, Ohio State going up against Minnesota. I've talked about both these teams a lot this season. My phone is going crazy. Apparently the Lions have started yet, and yes, they have. The Lions have started. Also, I'm going to say something about the Lions and Vikings. I think the Vikings are going to win this game. And should I say that? Because I don't want to look like an idiot. No, I'll say it. I think the Vikings are going to win the game against the Lions, and I think the Lions, because of that loss, will go to the Super Bowl. Does that make any sense? I feel like whichever one of these teams takes a loss is going to be even harder to beat in the playoffs, if that makes any sense. It does. I think it does. I think it's good for a team to lose one before going to the playoffs. Anyway, Ohio State going up against Minnesota. Minnesota, they can't score, and that's where the analysis is going to stop. Minnesota cannot score any points, 67.4 on the season. Took a horrible loss to Purdue. Purdue is not a very good team. I don't know how Purdue is still in the top 25. Purdue is one of the worst teams in the country. It just baffles me that they're still in the top 25. Lost by 20, Minnesota did to Purdue. Minnesota on the season. Losses against North Texas, Wichita State, Wake Forest, Michigan State by 18, Indiana by 25, another not very good team, Indiana. And I just don't think this team can score. Every single time they go up against a team who can just outscore them, they get blown out by 20. This is another one of those situations. Ohio State also coming off of the loss. I broke them down against Michigan State. Was an entertaining game, competitive game for the most part in the second half. Michigan State defensively was too good for Ohio State. I don't think Ohio State's going to have any problem scoring in this game because Minnesota really, against top-tier opponents, have not been stopping a lot of teams. They allowed 90 points against Michigan State, 82 points against Indiana, 81 points against Purdue. So they're not stopping some of these good teams. And Ohio State has a better offense than two of the three teams I just mentioned. So I think Ohio State's going to roll in this game. I'll take them minus 5.5 as the play. I will take a Minnesota player, though, for tomorrow. It is going to be Dawson Garcia, their big man down low, over his total points. On the season, Dawson Garcia this year has been basically the only scorer for Minnesota. He's the big guy down low, like I said, 19.1 points per game, 7.2 rebounds. Also, that's another thing about Minnesota. They don't rebound. 32 rebounds per game. That is atrocious. They shoot 30% from the outside. Also atrocious. Why I like Ohio State minus 5.5 a lot. But Dawson Garcia is really the only scorer on this team. He's been doing it all season long, and I do think he will once again get to 20 points as Minnesota falls by probably 15 or 20 points. But he scored 20 against Purdue. They lost by 20 points. He scored 18 in his last game against Morgan. They finally won that game. But against Indiana, another decent team, 22 points, lost by 15. So you can see the trends here. Going up against teams that Minnesota has no business beating, he still scored 20-plus points. He does shoot the most of the team as well. So I like Dawson Garcia in this game to be productive on the offensive side. I do think Ohio State will be giving up their fair share of points in this game, but I think Ohio State's also going to score 80-plus. So I'm not really worried about Minnesota in this game. I am a little bit worried about Dawson Garcia, but he's only one man going up against five. So I'm going to take Dawson Garcia here over his total points as the final play of the night. Let's go to the recap graphic. We will be taking Ohio State minus 5.5, little bounce back going up against Michigan State. Minnesota just can't score. And then Dawson Garcia, the only guy who can score over his total points going up against Ohio State. Try to make this game interesting as the final play of the day. Guys, it's going to do it for the college basketball picks and props for Monday, January 6th, slated games. If you guys enjoy the content, please sure to drop a like this video and subscribe channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.